Millions of people tried to log in at the same time, and the entire system almost collapsed. Servers crashing, inventories vanishing, stores running out in minutes, and Nike executives scrambling in emergency meetings because what just happened wasn't a normal product launch, it was a cultural earthquake that shook the entire sports world, with Shedeur Sanders moving $70 million in merchandise in less than 24 hours, breaking every record and leaving even the biggest veterans of the game stunned. But here's the thing, this isn't just about numbers, this is about how one rookie turned into a global brand overnight, how his logo became more than apparel and more like a badge of identity, and why competitors are now panicking because they know the playbook has changed forever, and what happens next could redefine sports, business, and culture all at once. The moment the Sanders logo dropped online, chaos erupted like nothing Nike had ever seen before. Within the first minute, traffic to Nike's website spiked an unbelievable 847%, so high that even their servers built to handle massive sneaker drops were on the brink of collapse. Payment systems froze under the weight of millions of simultaneous orders, inventory trackers lagged behind reality, and within hours, $70 million worth of merchandise was gone, sold out, erased from shelves and digital carts as if it had never existed. Customers around the country sat staring at error screens, social media timelines flooded with complaints from fans who couldn't even secure a single shirt, and yet that frustration only fueled the fire. For those lucky enough to grab something, it instantly turned into gold, with resale prices climbing within minutes. Inside Nike's headquarters in Beaverton, executives reportedly called emergency meetings to figure out what just happened, because this wasn't a gradual build, this wasn't a normal launch, this was an explosion, a one-day storm that outpaced every rookie in NFL history, shattering the numbers of names once considered untouchable. Analysts compared it to a cultural supernova, a flash so bright it forced everyone, competitors, retailers, and fans alike, to stop and realize they were witnessing something historic. But this was only the beginning of the story, because what came next proved that this wasn't just about football anymore, it was about something much bigger. What made this launch truly shocking wasn't just the speed of sales, it was who was buying. This wasn't limited to die-hard football fans hunting for a rookie jersey, it went far beyond the usual sports crowd. Reports revealed that fashion influencers were posting their Sanders gear within hours. Musicians were showing off their purchases on stage and online, and international fans were paying for expensive reshipping services just to bypass US restrictions. Suddenly, the Sanders logo wasn't simply clothing, it was a cultural statement, a symbol people wanted to wear to prove they were part of a movement. Social media amplified this crossover effect instantly. TikTok videos of the merch hit 47 million views in days. Instagram posts featuring the logo averaged triple the engagement of other Nike launches, and Twitter exploded with trending hashtags across multiple countries. Analysts began calling it one of the most unique crossovers in sports marketing history, because the Sanders brand refused to sit in one box. It wasn't just sports, it wasn't just fashion, it wasn't just hype, it was all three, and it was global. In Europe, where American football usually gets ignored, demand was at record highs. In Asia and the Middle East, stores were calling Nike, begging for emergency shipments. In South America, distributors said they had never seen such a fast sellout of NFL merchandise in their lives. Shedeur Sanders had gone from athlete to icon in a single day, and the world wasn't just watching they were wearing. But as everyone was rushing to get a piece of this moment, Nike's biggest rivals were scrambling to figure out how they'd even begin to respond. Behind the scenes, Nike's rivals were in full-blown panic mode. At Adidas headquarters, executives reportedly held late-night emergency calls, dissecting every detail of the Sanders rollout, trying to figure out how Nike pulled it off. Under Armour's marketing team rushed into closed-door sessions, analyzing whether any of their athletes could possibly replicate this kind of cultural impact. Even New Balance, usually quiet in the football world, was scrambling to brainstorm new campaigns. Industry insiders said it felt less like a product launch and more like a takeover, with one senior executive admitting in a meeting, "Nike just rewrote the entire playbook, we're all playing catch-up now." Financial analysts started running numbers to predict just how much market share Nike could steal in the next 3 years, and the calculations left jaws on the floor. Competitor recruiting teams began urgently compiling lists of college prospects, searching for the next Sanders before it was too late. This wasn't just about one rookie, it was about a paradigm shift. Nike had just proven that the right athlete, with the right cultural firepower, could flip the sportswear industry upside down overnight. And as competitors scrambled to adjust, it became clear that this moment wasn't only reshaping sneaker wars, it was about to redefine what it meant to be a marketable athlete. But while the rivals were panicking, Nike executives were celebrating because their gamble on Sanders, a gamble worth hundreds of millions, had suddenly paid off in ways even they hadn't predicted. Nike's bet on Shedeur Sanders wasn't small, it was massive, risky, and at the time, even controversial. Insiders reveal that the company poured a 9-figure investment into him before he had even taken a single professional snap. Endorsement guarantees, global marketing campaigns, product development, distribution planning, every piece of the puzzle cost millions. And still, despite those astronomical numbers, some people inside Nike thought it was too much, too soon. But after the launch, those doubts disappeared in an instant. The results didn't just justify the investment, they made it look conservative. What made Sanders different wasn't just hype, it was authenticity. He wasn't crafted in a boardroom, he wasn't overpolished, he wasn't playing a part. His social media presence was organic and raw, his style felt unique without being forced, and his confidence came across as real rather than performative. Fans didn't just want his merch, they wanted to be connected to him. And that authenticity, something no amount of marketing dollars can manufacture, became Nike's secret weapon. Executives admitted behind closed doors that even their most ambitious projections had underestimated the demand. They thought they were betting on a rising athlete, what they got was a cultural lightning rod. And as Nike doubled down on Sanders, the question shifted from, did they invest too much, to how much bigger can this get? The gamble had turned into a masterstroke, and the ripple effects were only just beginning. The shockwave didn't stop in the United States, it went global and fast. Nike's European divisions reported demand at levels they had never seen for American football gear, a sport that usually struggles for attention overseas. In Asia, fans were lining up outside flagship stores, hoping for restocks that never came. Middle Eastern retailers were calling Nike headquarters, requesting emergency shipments just to keep up with non-stop demand. In South America, distributors declared it the fastest sellout of NFL merchandise in recorded history. Suddenly, Shedeur Sanders wasn't just a US rookie, he was becoming a global icon. But the frenzy created major complications behind the scenes. Manufacturing plants were pushed to maximum capacity, entire facilities were reassigned to produce Sanders' line alone, and logistics networks were straining under the pressure. Counterfeiters tried to cash in almost immediately, forcing Nike to launch rapid response anti-fraud measures to protect the brand. Insiders revealed that the company even committed new production facilities exclusively to Sanders merch, something they had never done for a single athlete before. And still, executives admitted they couldn't keep up with the demand. Projections now point to a billion-dollar Sanders economy within the next 3 years. A number so staggering, it doesn't just change Nike's future, it rewrites the future of sports marketing worldwide. But the story doesn't stop there, because what this moment truly unlocked was something much bigger than merchandise, something that blurred the line between sports, culture, and entertainment. What made analysts sit up and pay attention wasn't just the record-breaking sales, but the way Shedeur Sanders blurred every line in the industry. This didn't feel like a jersey drop, it felt like a blockbuster movie premiere. Retail analysts compared the launch to Marvel film openings, describing the hype as bigger than sports, bigger than fashion. It was entertainment, culture, and identity colliding in one moment. For years, athletes had been treated as endorsers, faces for campaigns built by corporations. Sanders flipped that script. He wasn't just part of the ad, he was the brand. And consumers didn't see him as a billboard, they saw him as someone they could connect with, someone who reflected their generation's voice. Universities and business schools have already started building case studies around what happened, analyzing the Sanders phenomenon not just as sports marketing, but as sociology, communications, and economics. Suddenly, athletes everywhere realized they weren't just players anymore, they were potential global brands, capable of commanding influence far beyond the field. Fans didn't just want to watch Sanders play, they wanted to buy into the world he represented. That crossover power meant the stakes were higher than ever, because Sanders wasn't just playing football anymore, he was playing the game of culture itself. But with that kind of power comes crushing pressure, and the next question became whether Sanders could carry the weight of expectation on and off the field without breaking.